Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's weekly roundup regarding the news in Eve Echoes. So, there's not much on the agenda, but let's get started, shall we? So, first and foremost, Plex. The Plex situation is still ongoing, and we should not expect this to be resolved until, say, the end of the event, which I believe is another week and a half away. Again, if you do want to buy Plex to Plex up your characters, please bear in mind that it is a lot more expensive than usual, and in order to successfully purchase some, you need to place a buy order. Set that buy order for the maximum price that you can physically place the order for, because of how the market works with regards to Plex. And wait 48 hours. That is roughly the amount of time that it took for both of the transactions to get through on my alt characters that I typically move ISK across to and try to Plex up for basic Omega. So 48 hours, that's the waiting time you really should be expecting for a buy order to be fulfilled. Won't be the same for everyone, it's just, a guideline based on what I've experienced. So, moving on, we have all of the bugs that came through last week with the patch, not the week just gone, the week before. So we had a lot of bugs in a big previous patch that brought us all of the brand new fancy updates. And as you can see up on screen right now, we got quite a hefty amount of compensation for those bugs, covering pretty much every scenario that NetEase could think of whereby we might be upset, whether we would have wasted AI time on our golden nano cores. Maybe we lost a ton of fuel because we had to reactivate modules on our Capsuleer outposts. Whatever we lost, NetEase thought of it and threw in some relevant rewards in the maintenance. So we got 1.5 million heavy water. Bear in mind, everything here, including the heavy water, is bound to the player, which is a little bit awkward, but yeah, as long as you don't claim the heavy water in the wrong place, you'll be fine. 3 million Lazarus units, 150,000 skill points, that's the important one there. Lazarus units are kinda useless if you're already happy with what you've trained. 15... I honestly don't know what those boxes are, I should have checked. I just mentally blanked them out. Another 15 compilers, neural compilers for leveling up your implants. And 30 amethyst crystals. I honestly can't pronounce that word, they could have picked something better. That's your AI nanocores fuel. And whoopsie-daisy, I just pressed the wrong button on my computer. There we go. Yeah, I'm an expert at this. So, yeah, we got plenty of rewards. Everyone was joking we'd probably just get 5,000 skill points, but this is a lot more suitable. Yeah, bonus points, you get a gold star NetEase. So, moving on. Not exactly game news, but it's the closest thing to community news that you'll see me posting. I do not want to get in the way of Damon Zell whatsoever. Keep it up, Damon. So, we have the CSM update. The CSM have finally reached out to NetEase with their opening letter. If you go onto their Discord, go into announcements, you'll see the entire post in its entirety, of course. It's been probably, at least a month now to guess, since the CSM was formed. I'm guessing here, I've not got any specific notes to work off of. But anyway, the letter's been submitted. So we'll see in the coming weeks if there is any real purpose to the CSM, I guess, because it is partially dependent upon NetEase actually interacting with them. So moving on, and this is most definitely not Eve Echoes related news, but I figured it'd be relevant. Eve Anywhere, the service for Eve Online, which allows us to play Eve Online via a browser, which includes the browsers on tablets and mobile phones, has been discontinued as of about 3 days ago. Personally, I wasn't made aware of this until somebody reached out in the comments section. If I just... There we go. Acero Hawk. I'm really butchering that name. If you're listening, thank you for pointing this out to me. So, for those of us that have been promoting EVE Online and been saying you can play it on your mobile phone as long as you have a Bluetooth mouse and a Bluetooth keyboard and the best internet under the sun in the correct country, you can't anymore. I'm afraid it's just gone kapoof. So, yeah, if you want to play EVE on your mobile devices, EVE Echoes is the only EVE at the moment. So, moving on to the questions and answers for the devs for this week, which of course once again I've had to pull from Captain Benzi's video because the devs don't make them public early enough, do they? Oh well. So, question number 1. Hello. Have you considered adding the encounter refresh timer to the shortcut icon like the industry, skills and planetary resource shortcuts? This could save a lot of players extra time from setting their own timers. Okay. Oh, okay, I see what they're coming from here. Yeah, I get it. Hey there, this is an excellent suggestion, and it's definitely something we'd like to implement. We're always looking for ways to improve the player experience, and your suggestion is very helpful. So what they're talking about there is, in EVE Echoes, when you hold-click on one of the menu items like skills, market, planetary interaction, etc., if you hold tap on them, you can set your favourites, and your favourites appear at the very top right when you don't have the menu open. And some of those favourites kind of not adjust, they have like a live feature to them. So cargo hold, the cargo hold will fill up over time and you'll see it filling up. The planetary interaction has a timer on it. The skills tells you how much training time you've got left on your skills. What they're asking for here is for the encounter button that you can still set up there to have the 30-minute countdown on it for refreshing. Would be perfectly fine addition to the game. No complaints from me. So, moving on to question number 2. With the introduction of intelligent nanocores and AI features, let me just zoom in a little bit. With the introduction of intelligent nanocores and AI features, upgrading purple nanocores into gold comes with the restriction to repackage them and convert them into different ships' nanocores. This also includes the exclusive and special nanocores CyberX, Neon Rain and Sleeper. Now that there are new ships and constant rebalancing of ships, this gives those who worked hard to get these nanocores and bought the nanocores with real money deep regret when they convert them into golden nanocores. Is there any plans to allow repackaging of these nanocores and allow them to change it into a different ship nanocore? If you've purchased one of these really good nanocores like the CyberX one for example, the chances are that you've not just left it in its raw state, that you've gone and poured a ton of resources into. You've probably lost billions of ISKs worth of nanocore materials just trying to successfully upgrade your nanocore. And think about all of those, I always forget what they're called, but I call them blue balls. Think of all of those blue balls that you've wasted re-rolling the stats on that nanocore. After all of that, even before contemplating upgrading it to gold, I'd ask yourself, even taking gold out of the equation, would you waste all of that by repackaging it? Would you waste losing all of that progress on a perfectly fine nanocore that could be relevant again in a week's time when NetEase does a tiny bit of rebalancing? Personally, I wouldn't. I'd just buy another nanocore. I'd just buy another nanocore when it comes back around. So, on to the dev's answer. Thank you for your suggestion. We have heard from many pilots who share the concern with you. we are expanding the range of nanocores that can be exchanged. However, as this process involves many entries, we are taking gradual steps and trying to make sure that any changes we make are carefully considered. Yeah, oh boy, the cat is meowing. Let's see if I can get through the rest of this video. So, yeah, let's move on. So, question number 3. We are grateful for the Advance of Cruisers release. We are grateful for the Advanced Cruisers release. Okay, sorry, my dyslexia's kicking in. And my question is, when will NetEase release the new advanced ships for the frigates and destroyer classes? And also, do you have plans to rework the destroyers? Or why not add faction destroyers and faction battlecruisers? Might be a new thing, but these will be a big game changer. Yeah, small ships. A lot of us cry out for small ships. If we get more small ships, I'm happy. Thank you for your inquiry. While we don't have any plans to rework destroyers at this time, we do have plans to release advanced frigates and destroyers. We appreciate your feedback and we hope you continue to enjoy Eve Echoes. Yeah, it is also worth pointing out that they did give frigates and destroyers a small buff in the recent updates. So it's interesting to see if they'll actually see some increased usage. Release advanced frigates and destroyers. What that's most likely going to be is a fleet issue or navy issue like Punisher assault frigate, and what would we say? I'd say the Guardian bubble destroyers. I'm basing that exclusively off of the ships that they chose to buff on the patch notes from a week and a half ago. So if I turn out to be right about that one, then yeah, feel free to let me know. Last question. How do you calculate the insurance value for capital ships? For example, the Science Sea has a market estimate value of 44 to 45 billion, but an insurance value of 178 to 179 billion as a whole. Why is there such a large difference? Now, I'm just going to look away from the screen for a moment and not read the answer. My understanding is, and this is just from other people's commentary, so don't quote me on this. My understanding is the Science Sea would cost that 180-ish billion ISK to build if you were to put it in the hands of an industry player. But we're not building it yet. At the moment, it is being priced based off of the conversion from AUR to Plex and how much Plex is actually worth on the market. Well, actually, no, ignore the AUR bit. At the moment, it's priced based on Plex because you can get it for 6,000 Plex. So that's why it's so much cheaper on the market than the insurance value. And NetEase have stated in the past that they try to tweak insurance values to correspond with the cost of actually building them by taking into account mineral costs. But let's move on to their answer. Let's stop rambling. Thank you for reaching out. The insurance value for the Science Sea is determined by the estimate price of the manufacturing materials, the blueprint reverse engineering materials, and the manufacturing fee. Since the material price is still not steady, we currently use the initial price set by the system, but after regular maintenance and the trading volume of materials increases, the insurance value for Science Sea will change. This calculation method applies to almost all tradable and manufacturable ships in the game. So that's their official answer, and of course, as I stated, at the moment you can get it significantly cheaper with Plex, and that kind of undermines that whole calculation at the moment. But that's it for this week's questions and answers and weekly news roundup. God, I'm struggling with words this morning. If you're still here, feel free to hit like or subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again.